All right, by the way, we have our new merch on the store as well. For those who haven't seen them, we do have the t-shirt with the y'all mother effers on the back and in a long sleeve in a different colorway with the yellow as well. And even cooler, speaking of super cool, because it's 37 degrees out, we got our new hoodies in as well. I'll flip that over so you can see it. So that is our traditional flame print that we'd had on those long sleeves, and we've now made them for all of our friends across the pond and at home coming into winter. If you want to, get one in Australia and put it on ice until it's needed, make sure you jump on board, and so people can see you, literally, like they'll see you from the other side of the pond. Link is in the description.
What's up, guys? Joan from Bennett's Customs. We're back on another episode. We are working on my Roadster body. In this episode, we are going to convert this rear trunk into a dicky seat or rumble seat. In my green Roadster, we did like 6 guys down to the pub, which was really fun. And surprisingly, there's a fair amount of room in these once you're actually kind of sitting in them. We have some rust repair to do on this bottom section. I am going to separate the panels and that will allow me to fix this rust area, and then I'll be able to hammer out the weld and then we can kind of rust treat both the inside and outside, and while they're apart I will be able to weld in a couple nuts that are going to hold the brackets that will be our new pivot point for the seat itself. So it'll be kind of, for those guys who are looking to either go from a rumble seat to a trunk, which is usually what a lot of people do, we're going to do the opposite. We're going from a trunk to a rumble seat. So let's get into it. All right, so now that we have the trunk lid itself off the car, you can tell there's a fair bit of rust in there. But if I flip this over, just put it on my thing here. So this is kind of what we're working with. So you have your inner structure and the outer skin. The outer skin is rolled over and then it is spot welded all the way around. So a few different options that we can do with this. We could drill all these out, heat this up, and then we could kind of fold the edge over. We tried to do that on actually a previous Roadster. Carl and I did it when we repaired one of these ages ago. And we ended up actually just grinding this down until it actually separated from the lip. And then when we went to put it back on, it kind of sat right where you wanted it, and we could just do like a nice fill pass. I could even use silicon bronze and then sort of blend that back in and it would look totally normal. Start to work on these edges in order to obviously make these 2 pieces. Okay, so as you saw there, I just actually used the flat disc on the grinder, and I was able to just kind of run along that seam and was able to sort of split it. So I'm not taking too much material away, but you can tell that that was kind of that was the lip that had been kind of put over that I thought was spot welded, and it obviously wasn't. The spot welds have probably broken, but it's showing a bit more repair that we need to do, which is pretty understandable. But this way, when we go to put it back together, I now have an edge that I can just run a bit of silicon bronze all the way around, and it'll just basically help us having to try and fold that lip over. All right, so as you can see, we just ran the grinder around the perimeter and we were able to eliminate that edge. So you can see this piece was the bit that was obviously folded over from the outer skin, and where it rolled over, we've just taken that little bit of material off the top to split it into 2 pieces. This way, it makes it a lot easier to kind of remove the 2. So we're just gonna go around with a little flat kind of chisel thing I have, and we're hopefully gonna just try and sort of remove the two pieces. Fair amount of rust between these two pieces. Wow! Just like that. Two rusty bits that have never been separated. What we need to do is wire wheel and clean this whole entire thing. Probably not gonna get too crazy with the inside, but actually, yeah, I mean, the whole thing needs to be rust treated anyways. So I'm just gonna get the wire wheel on the drill and go to town on this, and then once it's cleaned, then I'll rust treat it, and then we can kind of see the areas that need to be fixed. Basically, we have a few repairs that we need to do prior to being able to kind of take another step forward. So as you can see, we have some very damaged areas here. We need to fix this little area across there. And again, on this side, right where the hinges were, this is kind of the way it came up, they're also quite badly damaged. So I'm gonna try and eliminate all this. So I think I'm gonna just make a little template here, and we'll just break something in the magnetic brake, TIG weld those in. So we've definitely got our work cut out for us now. Okay, so as you saw, we just repaired both corners, and yeah, really pleased with how they came out. We've obviously eliminated the holes where the original pivot was, and the damaged cracks and kind of areas. I ended up actually using a bit of silicone barons, and I welded the corner as well. These were just sort of folded over and not welded, but I'm kind of hoping that'll just help with their rigidity and kind of keep it from wanting to crack from those corners up the seam, which is what they're notorious for doing. So now we kind of have to work into the more annoying bit, which is this corner, and we have to do this whole bit along the bottom here as well. So there's actually a fair bit of rust through here, as you can see, that needs to be done as well. I'm almost wanting to cop out and not do that part, but that would be a silly idea because we already are this far. We might as well do it properly as we go. This is going to be just a simple brake on the magnetic brake, 90 degree. I'll just use the shrinker until we get the same profile. I can use this side as a reference as well. And then once we got that in, we'll cut this out, weld in a new piece, and then we'll start to do that flange along the whole bottom side of the inner structure. Also, we do have new merch online, so make sure you jump on that link below and go over to our store and check it out. This is one of the shirts that is out. So, y'all motherfuckers, jump over to our channel. All right, so we got the inner skin on the table, and we have to repair that lower edge. It sort of has like a rolled edge and then a 90-degree break on the bottom, and that's obviously where the outer skin lip would have folded over. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it, but these Model A rear deck lids have a lot of shape to them. It's a real low crown, but there's a ton of shape to them, like three-dimensional. And unfortunately, where we have the majority of the rust is right in that tricky area, kind of where it rolls over. And what's happened is, from where the original latch was, which was right here, it tapers ever so slowly the whole way down. I think it tapers maybe just over 1/4 of an inch. And so we can't just make one of these. Like, what I was originally going to do is just make a set of dies for the power hammer and just bang, just roll I could do a massive strip of this and just have it as leftover for, another job, or if someone needed a piece, I could just send it to them. Unfortunately, the tapering part of it kind of throws a bit of makes it a little bit more tricky. And so what I think I'm going to try and do, I did a few test panels, or test pieces, sorry, on the magnetic brake, and that was just using a piece of 19 mil material, and the magnet just works amazing. You can, as long as it's steel, and it obviously works with the magnets, it you can kind of, it's very versatile, which is really cool. So that gave me sort of the radius needed in order to achieve the curve that I want. And that radius, then I can kind of run this bit, and what I think I'm going to do here is actually run this bit through the tipping die. And then that way we can get that natural sort of taper that this has, and then we can kind of break this edge. I'll leave quite a bit of material, and then we can come through and cut it off afterwards before we weld it in. So let's try and kind of lay out a few of these pieces. We'll do some measurements, and then we'll go over to the magnetic brake and set up a little jig, and hopefully we can just nail it first shot. All right, so we got that one welded in. Now we need to work on the, I would say, the more rough side. So we're gonna do the exact same thing, relatively close to the same measurements, although with this one, I'm going to try and leave a tag so I can connect this half into the next one and try and sort of eliminate that little hole where the original latch would have gone. And that'll just give it a little bit more structure. Finish off the two little lips on the very outside, and we are so close to this being finished. And then we got to work on the skin and do more rust repair on that. So, gotta love rust repair. It is fun though. All right, so both sides are finished, and I just made like a tiny little angle piece to sort of eliminate and fix that damaged area where the original latch was. Once that's in, I still need to trim this edge, and we need to just make two little kind of side flat bits just to eliminate these damaged areas on both corners. Then this is basically finished. I haven't quite finished this. Call it a cop-out, call it a shortcut, call it what you like. I kind of just thought it was a very easy way to kind of simplify an issue. So in the corners of all these, obviously because this sits like that in the car, everything, moisture, dirt, dust, everything is going to fall down and sit in the bottom of this. That's why this was originally rusted out along the bottom of this. So what I have done is in those damaged areas where there was literally no metal, like you could just press it in with your thumb. It was obviously, you know, so badly rusted through that I just drilled it out and I made a hole, 4 holes along the bottom. It might not look that incredible. And you know, some would say it's a bit of a cop-out to not just repair those rust panels. Maybe they're right, but this is my theory behind it, is that when this is sitting in here and comes down into a dicky seat, everything is always going to be sitting on the bottom. So at least I can get like an air blower in there, or if it does get water or something in there, at least it has somewhere to go. So now that we have those kind of finished off, I just need to finish off these 2 little ends here. And I'm very tempted to louver the deck lid, but I think with the way I'm building this car, I think the louvers are probably not, they're not needed. So let's get these 2 pieces finished off and then we'll keep going with it. All right, so we are done, finally. Well, the rust repair on this portion. So this is the inner skin. We still need to do rust repair on the outer skin. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It's, you know, still complex, but like simple repairs. The biggest thing was obviously the gradual taper that these have, you know, not allowing us to make like a die for the power hammer, where we could have just run this in and, you know, had it dead parallel. But because there is almost just over a 1/4 inch fall on each side, we kind of had to use the tipping die in order to put that flange in there. But one big thing that I want to cover first before we do anything with the outer skin is obviously getting the brackets for the rumble seat attached. So they are attached on both sides using 6 holes. And in all of the inner all of the sort of forward, whether or not you're getting a factory rumble seat or a factory kind of pull-up trunk style, they all have kind of provisions or holes made for either latch on the bottom, latch on the top, and having these. They're all stamped out of the same thing. So the good thing is that it has sort of a witness area where we need to obviously mount these. A few different ways of mounting them. You could use kind of a nut on the back side, but because we don't have any access into the back, it makes it a little bit tough. You could weld something on the back. We could sort of like, you know, weld a piece of flat bar and drill and tap it. But I think what I'm going to try and use, and I think will be okay, is just your standard nut certs.
And the nut certs I was able to get are stainless ones, and they have a really nice lip on the outside edge. So when they go to compress, it should kind of, there's a bit of material there, which is kind of what we want. So let's get to fixing these on, and then we're going to go and kind of test this in the car, make sure that the inner skin is doing what it's supposed to do.
Dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a higher road you're taking. Let go of everything that you know and be wild in the mystery. Yeah. I've been in the darkness for 40 days. I've been searching for holy flames, a sign to light up the way. So can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been more certain of truth before. I've been called a righteous man before. Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out?
Right, so we got our aftermarket Bratton's sort of fixings that hold the actual kind of arms that pivot on it installed. Really, I mean, this is kind of just a trial. I haven't fit it yet. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I would like to say it's going to work. I already see a problem. There's a massive space issue between the two, so we need to obviously pack that out with something. We can always make spacers. It's a very simple pivot system, so I'm not too worried about that. And again, this is stuff that is sort of aftermarket as well. So aftermarket stuff, as a lot of you guys know, needs a little bit of work. So if you know that from the beginning, then there's no shocks. So question is, can I fit louvers? That's the big question. Because it'd be pretty cool to run some louvers in this thing, I think. All right, so few trial fits, and it's obviously doing what it's supposed to do, which is really cool. I can see a nice future leather seat here with a nice little pad, and yeah, stacked full. Maybe 6 of us in this thing. It'd be awesome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the video here as a part 1, and then I'm going to do part 2. I feel like there was quite a bit of kind of extensive rust repair and stuff that we needed to do to this inner skin or substructure. And I'm happy with how the vision is there. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Part 2, I'd like to fine tune it. I'd like to make some really nice spacers for the hinges themselves. I may even modify the hinges a little bit too, just to sort of put my style on them. But I want to make sure everything is working properly, and then we're going to get on to that outer skin that's over there, and potentially may punch a lot of louvers. But anyways, enough babbling. I know I sometimes chit-chat a little bit longer, but it is Friday afternoon here, and the weather is really nice, so I think we're gonna maybe shoot off, put the tinny in, and go for a little beer around in the bay. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend as well, and we will see you next week on Bennett's Customs. Also, if you guys may have seen, we do have our
Mother Effers Old Guys Drool t-shirts available on our website. And we do have a whole new kind of range of colors, hoodies, and everything as well. So make sure you guys jump over to our website and go to the store and find some swag on there you guys might enjoy. Also, thank you very much for all the great feedback after being up at the Scotsman's place and doing kind of a walk through a morning with him in his workshop and just getting inside the creative mind that he has. That was kind of a first of the series. So Inside the Mind, I think that's what we're gonna call it. Kind of go around again to a couple of our mates' places that, you know, sort of think outside the box or just have some real creative things they like to do that are somewhat motorcycle and hot rod related. So yeah, there'll be tons more of that coming up in the future. And yeah, we'll be able to get it shared to you guys. So enjoy babbling, babbling. That tastes delicious.